All right, I need to go on a little bit of a rant here for a second. I'm not going to say what this is in regards to or why this made me so mad, but why is it that every single team that's adding riders in BMX lately seems like they're adding the exact same style of person, doing the exact same tricks on the exact same setups to their teams? Didn't we learn anything from the fact that everyone got into ledge and flat rail tricks and everyone rode exactly the same 5 to 6 years ago? It's like it's happening all over again. Every single company is out there adding the exact same robot clones to their team. Every single week it seems like we've got this new guy added to this team, and guess what? He rides exactly the same as the dude who was added to the other team last week. I don't understand it. And as I sit here and say this, I realized that last week I talked about 3 completely different styles of riders being added to the GT team. Well, that is not what I'm talking about here, because GT does things completely differently than most other BMX companies. And let's be honest here, when it comes to GT, how often do you see their parts out there in the wild? Why is it that a company that you really don't see or hear from that much in regards to their products actually being out there and used is doing things more correctly and diversely than any other company out there? And every single one of these clone riders is being added to the flow team for the company. So guess what? When you're adding a flow rider who rides exactly the same as every single other flow rider out there, you're grooming your future team. So basically what you're doing is trying to groom the future to be exactly the freaking same as every single other team out there. So what's going to happen? These riders are going to go onto the pro team, and then every single pro is going to have the exact same style as every single other pro. It's like we're reliving 2010 to 2014 all over again. And the way I want to end this rant is by saying that I'm not taking anything away from the skill level and talent that these riders have. These guys are amazing on their bikes, and they're doing things that would take me forever to learn or do, if I could even do it at all. But the thing about it is that I don't understand is that they're all doing the exact same stuff. If there's this many people doing the exact same tricks, why does that qualify them to represent a company? So basically what you're telling kids is that this is the checklist and how you become eligible to ride for a company. You just do these exact same tricks as everyone else on our team, be a good representative, and you can be on our team and represent our company. Shouldn't we be promoting originality and pure just freestyle, because this is freestyle BMX, and not breeding the flow teams of now to be the exact same clone BMX rider pro teams of the future? But whatever, end the rant. If any of this hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. This is just my opinion, which means that you don't have to listen to any of it or believe any of it. And I feel like I'm just relaying what I've heard a lot of people say in a place that a lot of people might be able to hear it, and maybe, just maybe, it'll make some sort of change, because that's exactly what the goal of all of that was. So with all of that being said, as you've seen, I made that the first thing that I'm talking about this week. So let's move into what I've already recorded and talking about for the rest of the week. Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News. This is a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, last week I talked about Rooftop's Feeble Talk over on the Our BMX YouTube channel. This week they uploaded a segment from that Feeble Talk that they're calling a Feeble Cut, and it's a segment where Rooftop's talking about what he thinks are the craziest tricks ever done on BMX bikes, and this is a fantastic one for them to upload. It's probably my second favorite, next to where he was reacting to things going on in BMX lately. That one was just hilarious and awesome and brutal honesty. This one, he's kind of just raving over some of the things that he thinks are the craziest things ever. Starting out by talking about Matt Hoffman doing the biggest airs ever done on a BMX bike without even anyone there present to verify for world records or anything like that. Just going out and doing it for himself on Danny Way's ramp that he built to go higher than anyone else on a skateboard. Then he moves on to Colin Winkleman in one of his insanely huge jumps that he did. Then he talks about Jed Milden doing the quadruple backflip on a BMX bike. And then he brings up Matt Hoffman again doing the Tuck No Hander 900 for the first time ever in the middle of an X Games run. And it's just 10 minutes of Rooftop and Ryan Fudger going over some of the most insane stuff to ever happen on BMX bikes, and I definitely think you guys got to check this one out. There's a link in the description below, as well as links to everything else that I'm going to be talking about in the order that I talk about it. And then after that, I wanted to highlight this video of a goat in his natural habitat, otherwise known as Garrett Reynolds riding street, promoting his V2 signature frame from Fiend. This video is full of a whole bunch of insanity and goat moves that you're used to seeing from Garrett Reynolds. At one point, he does an opposite feeble to truck driver to manual to some other grind to probably a bar spin tail whip, because Garrett is literally the best. And the last clip is a double peg grind to tail whip to manual to 180 down a gap. And somehow at the time of watching this, there's only 4,000 views on this video, so if you haven't seen it, you're probably going to want to check it out, and it's only a minute long, so I probably talked about it longer than the actual video is. Upon reviewing a clip just now, I realized how close I was to the camera. Sorry for that, we're backed up a little bit now, but we can move on to sponsorship news, where the first thing is a highlight that I wanted to talk about for the week anyways, and that is that Broc Raiford is now on Red Bull. And if you watch the video where Terry Adams tells him that he's on Red Bull by giving him a Red Bull hat, you can see just how deserving Broc is for this based on his reaction to Terry, and just, it's honestly an awesome video to watch, and it's super awesome to see Red Bull supporting someone so deserving such as Broc Raiford. And that brings us to contest and jam news, where I've got one highlights video. This is from the Backyard Jam 2019, stop number 2 at Unit 23 Skatepark. And then we can move on to the videos from this week. The first one is one that you've probably already seen with the whole 50,000 views that it has on it, and that is Cult Does London/UK. This one is with Anthony Panza, Ollie Shields, Jordan Aleppo, Chase D. Hart, AK, and Vish. I've got to bring up real quick and ask you guys a question. Do you think Jordan Aleppo looks like the long-haired, top-knot street version of Corey Nastasio? I kind of do. And with this video, it's got 50,000 views. You know it's amazing. Vish put it together, did a fantastic job, and I think the reason I like this one so much is if you tally up all the different types of spots that they rode in this video and the amount of time that they took up in the video, bank to subs took up probably most of the video, and it was awesome. I enjoyed every single little bit of it, and I think you will too if you watch the video. The next video I want to talk about is called 13-year-old Aryei on to 18-inch on S&M Bikes YouTube page. I met this kid out in California when I was out there, and I saw him riding, saw him shredding, but I had absolutely no idea that he was this good on a bike. He's doing stuff that people 16, 18, 20, me, I can't even do a lot of the stuff that he's doing. He's doing some manuals to grinds to 180s and truck drivers and truck to Smith and just all kinds of amazing stuff. And he's only 13. Like I said, I saw him shredding out in California, but dang, this video is awesome and the future looks bright for this kid. And that's the last video that I want to talk in depth about, but we've got a whole list of other videos for you to check out this week. The first one is called Ride to Ride, and it's from Merritt. Then we've got a trail session with some friends from Brad Sims. Pretty sick to see a video with Brad Sims in the trails. I think that a lot of you are going to be psyched on it. Then we've got Joe Battaglia's iStreet edit. Then we've got a mixtape from S&M called Number 1. Then we've got a video with Mongoose in Hastings. And then, like I said last week when we first talked about the Champagne teaser from Kink, we've got some more content around that, and this is a behind the scenes video in Germany called Toasted. And that brings us into the product related news from this week. The first thing that I want to talk about here is a promo video for Chris Child's signature complete bike from Sunday. This bike checks all of the boxes for things that you might want or need in a complete bike to make it last as long as possible. It's got 100% chromoly frame, fork, and bars, as well as sealed front and rear hubs, and a whole bunch of aftermarket Sunday Odyssey parts on it, so you know that this thing's built to last. And if you watch the video and you see the gap that Chris Childs does on this bike, albeit it was probably a brand new bike, still the gap that he does on this is insane. And if it can hold up to that, surely it can hold up to the riding of someone who's in the market for a complete bike. Then S&M released some new Clint Reynolds grips, and there was a promo video for it where he first talks about the grips and all of the different features, and also the fact that the packaging is also a Credence stencil, which I thought was pretty awesome. Then it moves into some trail riding, and I think the end is kind of the funniest part because it's a whole bunch of bloopers that they threw into it as well. This was just an entertaining video all throughout, especially for being just a grip promotional video. Then we had a bit of a sneak peek at Ruben's new updated tire from Fly Bikes. This is a write-up over on Dig, and it's called Research and Redevelopment, Ruben and his new signature Fly tires. And that brings us into the interview section from this week. We only had one thing to talk about here. This is a Jason Watts Unclicked podcast with Dennis Henderson. I listened to the entire thing. It was super entertaining throughout. All of the different stories and things they talk about, it was just really entertaining. Jason Watts seems like an awesome, very wild dude. With that being said, that's the last thing that I have to talk about this week in the BMX news video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you had a favorite thing to talk about or you have any comments, especially on the whole sponsorship rant that I had, leave them in the comments down below. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.